Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. If you are entirely new, huge, big and warm, loving welcome to you. Welcome, welcome, welcome in our world, in our tribe of spiritual growth, healing, manifestations, and so much bliss and joy. And if you have been with me for a while, big, massive, warm hug from my heart to yours. And may all of you experience the abundance of bliss and loving light throughout this episode and long, long, long after. And allow yourself as well to come back and re-listen, revisit that information. This is how we learn the best. And today we are going to bring a huge and massive value. Not only you can hear the most beautiful beach wave sounds behind me, I am bringing a really high frequency with light codes of so much freedom, empowerment and liberation. And today we will talk about sabotaging, the ways we are sabotaging ourselves, our progress, our healing, our manifestation, all those juicy, not juicy ways when we just step in the way of our own greatest good, which is only normal and natural. So please remember, each time you visit this information, to do not be swamped by the excess of guilt and shame, because it is a lower frequency. It is healthy in a minimal way when it guides us and tells us we are off alignment, but it's an entirely different thing when we never actually went and healed the blocked huge amount of guilt and shame that it's carried from one generation to another, to another, to another, to another, and the youngest generation is carrying the huge and the biggest amount, and all their energy is going into covering up and resisting release, because we just simply don't know how to do it the opposite way, which is surrender and release. So this episode is sponsored by Healed Healer Mastermind, self-study group, and we are actually closing the doors for the new members to join us in just few days. So be sure you're going to click the link attached and not miss out on this magnificent opportunity to change everything right now on your healing journey. And instead of trying, not succeeding, actually make the shift in the right direction permanently. It is absolutely essential for us to do the things we are guided to do. So please go and check in with your heart. What is the best thing for you right now? And let's go with the episode. So let's talk about sabotaging and those ways that we just cannot figure out how come again and again and again I am sabotaging my progress. What's happening that over and over again I'm building something amazing in my life and then it's torn apart. It feels like I am backwards. It feels like I am back to square one. It might feel for you as well very hopeless, very helpless. It might feel for you that doesn't matter how much you try, how much you do, how much you wish, how much you pray, how much you meditate to manifest that thing you desire, maybe health, maybe the love of your life, maybe your soulmate, maybe beautiful group of friends or family, maybe a trip, maybe moving your whole life from a colder climate to the tropics or the opposite way around. Whatever it is for you, if it doesn't feel like it's happening, something is tearing it apart, this episode is for you. So allow yourself to sit up straight, breathe in deeply, soak it up, the frequencies in between my words, and let's just look within the root of that. So the biggest root, doesn't matter how much work I have done with myself, using others' help, using the divine guidance help, using groups help, and all of the work I did with my clients in a one-on-one basis, which is very intimate, very in-depth, and as well in a group environment. And every single time it goes down to deeply rooted unworthiness. There is like a massive dark cloud block of energy, very low frequency, always circling around guilt and shame. Always. Unworthiness, guilt and shame, very closely connected, interwoven on a very similar frequency between 5, 10, 15, 20, where the frequency of love and above, which is peace and joy, is 500 plus. So it is a huge difference that the frequency of courage on a scale of consciousness is somewhere around 200, you know, and it is just the courage to go through the fear. It's even lower. The guilt and shame frequency is lower than the fear and anger, and we often mistake the anger as something the worst thing ever because simply we don't know how to process it. We don't know how to deal with it. We don't know how to look at it. And anyway, you are sabotaging yourself. The best thing you can ever do for yourself is to create a sacred space for yourself, a sacred space as a frequency where in between other people or on your own, you can always tune in with your heart, become silent within, still within, doesn't matter what's happening outside of you or in your mind, still within your heart, within your torso, and just look at that pattern. So this is what majority of us is actually unable to do. We've been brought up and conditioned to run away from it. And anything that feels uncomfortable, because it's uncomfortable just because it's unfamiliar. Just because it's unfamiliar to look at our own dirt, look at our own shadow. We've been conditioned to run away to drugs, sex, alcohol, spending money, consuming, partying, throwing it up. All of these things that I did in the past, all of them to distract me from what's happening inside of me. And when we are learning to go within and create that beautiful sacred space, something magnificent happens. Because all of a sudden, instead of paying all of your attention to everything outside of you for distraction reasons or just unconsciously, or by the way, all of it is happening unconsciously, we are all of a sudden paying attention to ourselves, which is automatically raising our frequency. Even if we are sitting and looking at our own guilt and shame and how the story always repeats. Maybe you have a story with your ex. Maybe you have a story with money. Comes and goes. Never not enough. You don't feel good enough to have more. Doesn't matter how much you try, how many overtimes you did. It always seems your debts are getting bigger and bigger. That was my case just 2, 3, 4 years ago. Whatever it is for you, the deeper you can look into that pattern, sit down, how it feels in your body, how it starts, what are the thoughts, feelings, emotions, and actions assigned to that pattern. When you can do that fully and entirely, you are becoming a master of your energy. The key is as well to have a full-on acceptance and understanding what true acceptance is in order for the energy to stop the resistance, in order for the energy to be transmitted on its own without manipulation and trying to use wounded masculine to change and shift our energy and make things different than they are. Eckhart Tolle says that before we can let go and release, first we've got to fully accept, which is being here and now with it, whatever it is. without labeling it wrong, bad, ugly, horrible, the way our mind was conditioned all our lives to do it. So the number one step in overcoming or stepping out of sabotaging frequency, which is one of the lowest ones, is to realize that pattern. Realize what is attached to, and in most of the cases, over 99%, it will be deep unworthiness combined with a behavior that is subconsciously closely attached to guilt and shame, which is blaming others, making yourself a victim. This is all the ways that I was living my life, most of my life, until I realized, OMG, okay, something has got to change over here, and it has to change right now, which it means I have to take new actions. I have to employ new thoughts, new emotions, new feelings, embed them into my body, practice them more than the other thoughts. But before I did it, I had to become crystal clear on what are those old ways of being. So if you find yourself learning about it, it's so important to do that in the most loving way, without pushing, forcing, or shaming yourself in any shape and form. It has to be done with an excessive amount of compassion, kindness, and unconditional love towards yourself. In other words, you got to become your own parent. If this is a struggle for you, because it was for me, and I tried to do it on my own because I was just drowning in debts and I was just scared and terrified to hire anyone. And that's why I suffered for so many years. That's why this process took me so long and I did so many mistakes. And I returned back to these same cycles for so many times, over and over and over again, because I didn't allow myself to receive the help. I didn't allow myself to ask for help, become coachable, and receive that help that would show me exactly, in this particular thing you're trying to manifest, maybe it's health, maybe it's business, maybe it's money, maybe it's lover, to help me exactly overcome these old patterns of sabotaging my own progress. If that's the case for you, I'm going to encourage you to shorten your suffering period. After all, we never know how much more time on this planet we have left. Might be one more year, one more day, maybe 150 years, because something is going to change in, everything is possible. But it is all one big unknown until we consciously are creating it. Okay, so another point for, please let me know in the comment section, what is the value? What is the frequency you are allowing yourself to receive right now from this episode? And let's go a little bit more into sabotaging ourselves. Usually, if there is an unworthiness, because you've got to look into the depth of the unworthiness and how it stops us from allowing ourselves to receive that which we truly need and desire and love and crave. So it is so beautiful to look into how that unworthiness affects our life, and it is based on believing in this specific unworthiness frequency thoughts. The thoughts that are going unconsciously so fast through your mind, your body just automatically reacts as no. The thought is, I'm not good enough, I cannot receive it, this is too much love. I don't know how can I deal with this amount of love in my life right now. I crave and desire to be with my soulmate, with my divine counterpart, and have these phenomenal experiences together, Kundalini awakenings, this magnificent bliss of love. But deep inside, the deeply rooted unworthiness, because all you did your life was watching family, maybe your mom, maybe your dad, being and feeling unworthy. And you believe you are the same because you're your mom's son or you're your mom's daughter and you're supposed to be the same. It's all so subconscious. Sometimes those beliefs are so ridiculous, they're not logical at all, and you've got to understand that they are created through the child being in fear, which is trauma in itself. And that unworthiness goes really deep and impacts you. Now, one of the biggest things that I'm going to share with you right now in this episode is that we do not get in life what we want. So I am here, and that which I want is over there, which is a distance between me and it. We never get that. We are not there. We're always gonna be here, and that thing will be always over there. There always will be a distance, a frequency mismatch between that which we want and that where we are at right now. We get in life what we are being. We get in life the match of the frequency signal we are broadcasting into the universe. So if all day long I am moaning and I am complaining and I am making myself a victim, guess what am I getting in life? More of victimization, more of not good enoughness, more of unworthiness. If my thoughts are all around, oh my God, I don't know what to do about my bills. Oh my goodness. And I don't know if that's gonna work, and I have this business meeting and this company is reaching out and okay, so if this is the way of thinking, you are not mastered your energy yet, which there is nothing wrong with it, it's just a different outcome. There will be a different frequency match reflected in your 3D reality. And if you and your happiness depends on what outside of you, what manifests in a 3D world, and it doesn't matter what you feel inside, there will always be a victimization. There will always be a mismatch of energy between wanting, because it is a lack. It is a lack. So allow yourself to understand fully and deeply that we get in life not what we want, which is not here. We get in life what we are being. Therefore, embodying the frequency of your desire, of your dream, and feeling it inside out, from your heart, from your torso, from your arms, from your throat, from the way you speak and the way you dance and jump. When you embody that frequency, it doesn't even matter any longer if that thing is gonna materialize in your outside world. You just are it. And that automatically makes it happen. It comes to you sooner or later when you are in now moment, not when you are checking your watch. Why is it not here? Maybe it's gonna happen 12. Oh no, it didn't happen yet. Oh my God, this is back again to being in the old unworthiness, lack frequency. So looking at your overcoming and stepping out of your sabotaging frequency, you've got to look within. You've got to, I had to, there was no other way around for me. I've got to look within, and I had to start learning to label old and new sensations in my body in an entirely different way, which is exactly equal frequency to labeling everything that's happening outside of me in a new, different way. But I had to be sure that the way I'm labeling now, this old reality, is an entirely new way, the empowered way, the frequency that it's matching my desire. And I have absolutely no doubt you know exactly what I'm talking about. Allow yourself to take a deep breath in. Take it in as much as you can. Return and come back to get even more from that episode. And allow yourself to sit down with yourself today. Look within. Look, what is it that you are running away from? Because that emotion, that old block energy pattern within you that you're running away from, as long as you are running away from, it is your master. It is your master and is in charge of you. And there is no way that it is a high frequency. So there is no way that that thing you desire will be easy and flawless for you to manifest. Not that it is impossible, everything is possible, but we know so many people who are selling their soul for something that they are not a frequency match to, and maybe they are getting, they're struggling to keep it, or they live in fear of losing it. And that's a really, really sour, really unpleasant reality to be in, because it isn't about just getting somewhere. It is about being able to stay there and grow from there, instead of being there and living in fear of falling. Oh my goodness, what a magnificent flow. So self-sabotaging comes from us, comes from our energy, our shadow, that only waits to be seen, felt, experienced, acknowledged, accepted, and then it's going to be released on its own as long as we are in our bodies, as long as we're staying connected with our heart, which of course there is no way of doing that without daily breathwork, daily meditation practice, daily self-love practice, making those new choices that are creating new feelings, new emotions, and new outcomes. There is as well another side of us sabotaging ourselves and our own progress, that it isn't exactly connected with unworthiness. They are stages on our journeys when we drift away from our heart's guidance, from that divine higher self voice. And it is only normal and natural to go through waves on our journey like that. This is what it's called seasons. Seasons of life, seasons of journey. They are weekly seasons, daily seasons, monthly seasons, yearly seasons. There is just so much into it. And this is when we often, something doesn't go upwards all the time. Even Eckhart Tolle talks about it, that it's impossible to constantly go upwards. Because the journey has not been designed like that. The journey has been designed in a wavy way. When things don't go up, there is a labeling of that experience as something bad. And straight away, when we judge and criticize ourselves, we lower our frequency. So it isn't that the event in itself, some different wave, different season, different current, is something wrong with it. Everything is for our greatest good and for our growth. But the labeling that experience as wrong, by resisting it, rejecting it, instead of looking within, creates that entirely different experience. So there are times on our journeys where we make choices and then something happens. And it might look like we have sabotaged ourselves. Oh no, why am I doing this? This opportunity seems so phenomenal. It is just so expansive. There's so many people involved that I can help, and amazing energetic exchange, this and that. But it doesn't happen, or it doesn't happen the way you believed it's supposed to. And that might look like, oh no, I sabotaged myself because I wasn't working 24/7. But no. Very often, our higher self will allow us to have us and our muscle, our trust muscle, strengthened by those challenging experiences. And when you will look back on your own journey, when did you learn the most? When did you expand the most? When did you learn to love yourself unconditionally the most? In your highest or in your lowest? Because this is a really, really important question. We need to stop shaming and labeling situations as wrong and bad. The second we will do it, our whole life is going to change into one of the most beautiful and magnificent adventure. And we will be creating, manifesting, and sharing more and more and more of light. The frequency of the earth is going to go higher and higher the way it's already started. That's why we have this mass awakening happening in a whole wide earth, which is just absolutely beautiful. So when that kind of situation happens, which normally we would label maybe as a self-sabotage, I'm doing something wrong here, what's happening? When you don't feel fully connected with your heart, with that higher self, higher power, whichever way you call it, allow yourself to see that something or someone, that higher power, that higher aspect of you, is just simply guiding you back to your heart to go deeper and bolder into trusting the unknown, trusting that higher power, trusting you are guided. But there is a really easy, if we don't have this solid morning routine, daily routine, if we don't have developed a solid connection with our heart and becoming no one, nothing, nowhere, emptying ourselves out of the illusion, if we don't have this routine, it's extremely difficult to figure out, okay, where is this actually sabotaging, or am I just guided for my greatest good into a different path or better path, or just reconnecting deeper with my own heart. And this is the best way is to have your own heart, your own intuition, your own divine guidance awaken, and you reconnected with it, because it speaks to you 24/7. All you got to do is to be tuned in on the frequency, so you can allow yourself to receive it and hear it. It's guidance, it's love, it's phenomenal high frequency. This is what I'm doing every single day. My number one thing is to make sure that before I am going into the world, that I am connected with that highest guidance and frequency as best as I possibly can with the energy I have right now. Some of the days maybe I didn't sleep, puppies were not well, or something happened or didn't happen, it doesn't matter. I am allowing myself to use the best as I have with what I have for today. And then going into the world with that guidance is a whole new level. There is no overthinking, there is no questioning. It is just following divine guidance while I am in bliss and in connection with my heart. And this is exactly what we are teaching in Healed Healer Mastermind. Heal yourself first before you go into the world. Because the frequency you step into, the frequency of love, the frequency of bliss and freedom, which is totally opposite from living in guilt and shame because you don't believe you are a good mother, or you don't believe you are a good enough, which most of us, we're conditioned into feeling exactly that. When you drop these frequencies, you step into a whole new reality. And then whether you work with others or not, you are a healer, because you are bringing that higher frequency into this world when you are in public and when you are on your own. That frequency radiates out of you into your whole family, into your friends, people you have ever met, people you have never met. It just radiates out of you like a ripple effect. And that's exactly what Healed Healer is all about. Although we actually teach how to be paid in abundance for being you as a healer, teacher, yoga teacher, coach, practitioner, whoever you feel called to express yourself as on this or next chapter of your journey. Okay, lovelies, there is only a few days left. The doors are getting closed very soon. Don't miss out, because there is only few people that we are letting in this time. It's only 5. You don't want to miss that. And we have our first Zoom gathering with Q&A and this powerful group healings that we are doing in Healed Healer Mastermind on Friday. So I am so excited to get together again and get our socks off with this high frequency we are creating as a group. Okay, lovelies, thank you for being here. Thank you for being magnificent. Be sure, as an energetic exchange, that you are sharing this episode with others. We never know when someone might need to hear this and receive that love and frequency that it is embedded in this episode. Lots and lots of love to you all, and thank you for being you. Thank you for being here in this planet and just shining your magnificent light. I love you.